A Talmud Chochem is not permitted to alter his speech. Chutz, except for three areas. It's not called he's lying, although what he's saying is not the truth, but he's permitted to alter his speech. What's altering of speech? Right? Says if a person approaches the Talmud Chochem and says, "I heard you're a Boki B'Shas." Right? Talmud Chochem is permitted to say it's not true. So Rashi says, for the sake of humility, he's permitted. A person was hosted by a phenomenal host, and somebody says, "So how was it?" He says, "It was okay." It was okay. You mean it wasn't outstanding? No, it wasn't outstanding. Why? Because if word gets out that it's so exceptional, everybody's going to be actually victimizing this person, and he'll become a victim of all these people who want to be hosted. One of the pillars which the world stands on is truth. Okay, Misha Dover Sheker. So a person who speaks falsehood was saying where it's not permitted, lies. Kilonota Yisolu Shalom. He's actually removing the foundation of the world. He's undermining. The Hefech Misha Zorbem is to the contrary of that. A person who's careful to be truthful. Kilomakayim Yisolu Shalom. Famous story with the Chofetz Chaim. He initially, when he published some of his svarim, he himself would actually carry the svarim to the post office and buy the postage and send them off. This famous story with Chofetz Chaim Reb Ari Levin. Reb Ari Levin lived in a town called Orle. That's the way the Litvak says it. Orle. That's the way they pronounce it. It was outside of, not far from Brisk. Kamenetz was that area. And the Chofetz Chaim initially, when he published the Sefer on Lashon Hara, he would travel from village to village selling his svarim. He walks in, he had his bundles of svarim, walks into the shul, and the Chofetz Chaim writes, we'll get there, that Shvisi Hashem Negdi Tomid in Europe, they would usually have it on the Amud. And every shul, you have candles burning. Whether it's a wax tallow candle, wax candle, or oil candle, very often the top of the Amud is saturated with oil or with wax. And it was written on a parchment. Shvisi Hashem Lenegdi Somid. Yud Ke Vav Ke. So over time, what happens if the oil becomes totally saturated in oil? It's a question of Mechikas Hashem. You're obliterating the name of Hashem. So the Chofetz Chaim writes in the Mishnah Berurah, you should put a piece of glass to protect the parchment, that even if you have the spillover, whatever, or it's inevitable, it happens, that you shouldn't obliterate the Shem Hashem. The Chofetz Chaim writes in the Mishnah Berurah. So he comes in to the shul, this little village, and Reb Ari Levin is learning the backbench. He was a young man at the time. And the Chofetz Chaim notices it, and he says to one of the people that, this should be corrected. And he says, I wrote about it in Mishnah Berurah, and the person is about to say something negative about the shamas of the shul. Is it like the shamas couldn't care less? And as the Chofetz Chaim sensed he was going to say something negative about the shamas, it came out from his gut, Lashon Hara, as if you plunged a knife into his flesh. Yeah, and he fled from the shul. So Reb Ari Levin said, when he saw the Chofetz Chaim's reaction to Lashon Hara, for the rest of his life, he was never tempted ever to say Lashon Hara, regardless of what the situation was. It was like a visceral reaction to such a degree, he never saw anything like it. That's the Chofetz Chaim. So Chofetz Chaim takes his books, his svarim, to the post office, and he's about to pay for the postage. He meets him in the post office, and the man says, were you sending books? He says, I'm sending to wherever it was. To Krakow, Kruke. Okay, his father came from Krakow. So he says, what do you have to spend money? I'll take him. He takes the svarim for the Chofetz Chaim. The Chofetz Chaim already bought the postage stamps. He was going to put it on the package. Takes the stamps, tears them up. tears up the stamps. So somebody asked him, why are you tearing up the stamps? Save yourself the postage. Keep the stamps. So since I had in mind, this is similar to Rav Safra, to put those stamps on the package, right? And the government would have received the money for that. They would have benefited, because next time I have to send another package, I have to purchase stamps again. I don't want to benefit from those stamps. That was disturbed with the Chofetz Chaim. I'm just telling you, he held, to him, that would be, it's like Rav Safra. Rav Safra was saying the Shema. Somebody came in and he wanted to purchase something for him. And Rav Safra ignored him. So the person thought, because he's not satisfied with the price, with the number he offered, and he keeps upping the price. And then he completes Shema, and Rav Safra says, because since in my mind they already agreed to give it to you for the lesser price, I'm not going to charge you. Even though you wouldn't know the difference. Tomorrow says, that's Dova Emes Buvovo. You see, I want people to become lamdonim, to split hairs. Of course you can differentiate.
If you buy a plane ticket and you don't use it, you can use it again, because the airline hasn't provided you the service either. The stamps were for a service to be provided.
They weren't for other stamps.
The government hasn't provided that service here.
I understand. I agree with you.
Yeah, so
You already paid for it. So the government got it.
Yeah,
the government has benefited.
But he had in mind that these books would be sent with those stamps.
I understand.
Yeah, I'm just saying, everything's the way you internalize it. You made money on the government. The government this time didn't take my money. If you feel that way, understand. I would have. It's a sensitivity you have. It depends what your standard is, and based on that standard, it would determine how you feel. Was it compromised? Was it not compromised?
So, maybe one could say, well, it's not for me to say about the time, but destroying one's money is also a violation.
Okay, let's talk. Person has leftovers after Shabbos. Say, and he throws them out. There's no one to give it to. Baltashkas. So the person says, "What? I should eat a double portion." Right? But wasteful is only if it's wasteful. It has no value. Discarding it. But if it has value, that's not baltashkas. So if not tearing up the stamps is considered in your lexicon a compromise on your emes, that's not wasteful. That's not being wasteful. Stand.
Well, you could have used the same stamps
Stan,
to send it to another person. You would benefit from it.
Whatever. Okay, I'm just bringing that out. In terms of standards, we're talking about standard of that a Talmid Chacham is permitted in the situation, other situations, and he was quoting Rav Safra. Okay? So therefore he's saying a person who's Zor in Emes, he's actually maintaining the foundation of existence. Shlohoy Malchamav Sholei Chom, he quotes the more I quoted yesterday in Chelik. There was a community in Malchamav, couldn't go in there, angel of death. Zichron Levrocho, Meosamoko Sho Yizira Be'emes, Shlohoy Malchamav Sholei Chom, Lefi Sheishto Sherav Ploni Shinzo B'dvoreo, Afalpi Shoisul Kavona Tovo, Gerso Bohem Malchamovis Ache Girshu Misham Bavur Zev Chosul Lishalvusam Tzorch La'arich B'dover Azeh Shasechel Mechayvo V'das B'chricho. Something which is simple, that you have to be honest and you can't compromise on your truth, does not be discussed any longer. So, question I told you, what about people exaggerate? Certain exaggerations were acceptable. Nobody speaks exact. What about gross exaggerations? Gross exaggerations are lies. So it was known, the Chofetz Chaim, Rebbe Chanan Wasserman, Seitzei Lubrocho, he had a yeshiva Branovich. It was a small town in Lithuania. And he came to the United States before the war to raise money. Said he would ask him, how many Talmidim do you have? How many students do you have? So maybe there were close to 400 boys. He would say 378. No, you have to round it off to 400. 380. No. And what's your budget? Literally to the penny. That's the way he would say it. There was no rounding off. So they asked him why. He says, I'm a student of Chofetz Chaim. I'm very careful. Anything comes out of my mouth is truthful, nothing negative. I was mentored by the Chofetz Chaim, and that's what he was taught, because everything is a compromised truth. A person buys a house, beautiful house, and he finds a hairline crack in the foundation. So, and the engineer says, after 20 years, this house is not going to be here any longer, because that hairline fracture has become a serious crack. Foundation will be compromised. The house is not going to stand. So it's a hairline crack. It's meaningless. He says, look, you're the buyer. I'm the engineer. You hired me. I'm giving my professional opinion. Okay? So he says, the Mesil Shalom says, Emes is the Yisodo Shel Olam. That is the foundation of existence. You tamper with it, and you compromise it to any degree, you're tampering with the foundation. So who's the expert? Chazal are the expert. They tell you what it is. It doesn't mean anything. I want to say just end with this. The first Nisayan, it's a question, maybe it was the second Nisayan, Avraham Avinu was Lech Lecho. Lech Lecho mi'artzo. I mean, Avraham Avinu was a fugitive. He hid in a cave for 13 years because his countrymen wanted to kill him, because he was espousing monotheism. His father informed on him to be thrown in the kiln. Leave your father's house. How could I leave? How could I leave? A person is being tortured and being afflicted. I say, no, we're going to give you 24 hours. Just leave town, and you'll escape all the troubles that you have. But how could I? What do you mean you'd love to be tortured? You'd flee from there. So what's the test? Right? It depends what your standards are. So I once explained, Avram had a standard of Hakoras HaTov not to be understood. Avram, his whole essence and being, he attributed to his parents and to his country people. Even to learn, not to learn from their ways, that's also this Hakoras HaTov. You're beholden to them. If he believed he was able to convert them to monotheism, and now Hashem says, abandon them. You know something? It's not so simple. What if it's simple? Well, so Avram says, Hakoras HaTov. The person looks at him like he's out of his mind. Hakoras HaTov. They've tortured you. But my father's my father. And if I could change his views, it's only because he has a misunderstanding. So everything's based on your standard. What is your standard of Hakoras HaTov? No? I gave him a gift, which I picked up, at a discount store. That's the Hakoras HaTov for all the man has ever done for you in your life. Well, I think, my conscience doesn't bother me. Okay, that's your standard of Hakoras HaTov. Another person would say, well, what are you doing? You've shown nothing. To be continued.
That was a test.
That's why it was a test. For us, it wouldn't be a test.
Right.
It's not exaggerated. It's not exaggerated. It's not exaggerations. If in fact it's an exaggeration, it's alluding to something else. Right? That's the Ramchal speaks about it, Derech Hashem. Chazal used certain code words or numbers to allude something in the Nister of Torah. Right.